Good morning. Happy Monday. Hope you guys had an excellent weekend. Can't wait to see you later and hear how Mother's Day was for your moms. Don't forget to check the Dropbox link. If you click into Dropbox, there's an MS folder for middle school. We have our weekend sheets in there that you can print out or you can just kind of take notes on. And we have our brand new week of activities that we worked on with all the service providers. So speech, OT, PT, music, social emotional activities. And my favorite part is the STEAM collaboration that we do every week. So check it out. If you need the Dropbox link, give me a jingle and I will send that on to you. Last night I sent out our Monday link. They don't want to let us have the same one for some reason for the last 2 weeks. So I will we'll make sure that before every meeting time that I send that out to you guys, just so you have it. Okay? Secret Garden, my total favorite book. Okay, we are in chapter 6, and this one is called Dixon. Mary called it the Secret Garden. It seemed like a place out of a fairy tale. She tried to imagine it covered with blossoms. The sun shone all that week, and Mary was outside every day. All the digging, skipping rope was doing good for her. She could run fast for the first time now and skip rope up to 100. Sometimes she talked with Ben Weatherstaff. He seemed to like her better now. Maybe it was because Mary was starting to be a nicer little girl. If you wanted to make a garden, she asked him, what would you plant? Mostly roses, he said. A few vegetables. I don't need much. So you like roses, she said. I do, young lady. That was what a young lady that I was gardening to. That's not making sense to me, sorry. That I do. A young lady that I was gardener for had a lot of roses and she loved them. That was 10 years ago. Where is she now? Asked Mary. Heaven, he answered. At least that's what the parson says. What happened to the roses? Mary asked. Why does that care so much about roses all of a sudden? He demanded. Mary's face grew red. She was afraid to answer. She did not want Ben Weatherstaff to know her secret. I want to play that I have a garden of my own, she said. There's nothing for me to do and no one to play with. I want to pretend that I have a rose garden. Then she asked him as many questions as she dared. After a while, he got cross. Now look here, don't ask so many questions, he said gruffly. He walked off. Mary skipped to the woods near the secret garden to look for rabbits. There she saw a boy sitting under a tree, playing a little wooden flute. His hair was rusty brown and his cheeks were red as poppies. Mary had never seen such blue eyes. A brown squirrel was watching him. 2 rabbits sat nearby listening to him play his flute. Don't move, he said quietly. When he saw Mary, it will scare them. Mary stayed still. The boy stood up slowly, and the rabbits hopped away. I'm Dixon, the boy said. I know thou art Miss Mary. Mary had guessed that he was Dixon. Who else could it be talking with the animals? I've got garden tools and seeds, he said. His smile spread over his face. He took a little package out of his coat pocket. There's a lot of poppies. They grow anywhere. He turned his head. Where's that robin that's calling us? Is it really calling us? She asked. Yes, said Dixon. Whose is he? He's Ben Weatherstaff's, but he knows me a little, said Mary. Dixon made a sound like a robin's own twitter. The robin listened, then answered. There is Dixon talking to Mary. He's thy friend too, chuckled Dixon. Do you think he is? Do you understand everything birds say? Asked Mary. I think I do. And they said, I think I do. He grinned. Sometimes I think perhaps I'm a bird and I don't know it. Here, I'll plant seeds for thee myself. Where's thy garden? Mary thought about it for a minute. She wasn't sure if she should share her secret with Dixon. Can you keep a secret? She finally asked him. Dixon answered, I keep secrets about fox cubs and birds' nests all the time. If I don't, all the boys in town would bother them. I can keep secrets. I've stolen a garden, she said very fast. It isn't mine. Nobody wants it. Nobody cares for it. They're letting it die. I found the garden and got it into myself. They've got no right to take it from me. She felt very contrary again and very stubborn. Mary led him to the door and pushed it slowly open. Dixon looked around in wonder and whispered, What a strange and beautiful place. It's like a dream. I never thought I'd see it. Do you know about it? Asked Mary. Aye, but no one was supposed to talk of it, Dixon answered. Are the roses still alive? Mary asked. Can you tell? There's a lot of dead wood that should be cut out, but they're alive, Dixon said. He bent down and cut a branch with his pocket knife. When the wood is all gray and brittle, the rose is done for. When the wood looks greenish and juicy, like it's here, it's alive, he explained. There will be a fountain of roses here this summer. They walked around the garden, talking very softly, so no one outside would hear. Mary showed Dixon the green little points growing up from the earth. She told him how she dug out the weeds. Why, a gardener couldn't have done better. Those flowers will surely go well now. That has done a lot of work for such a little girl, Dixon said. I'm growing fatter and stronger too, Mary answered. When I dig, I'm not tired at all. I like to smell the earth when it's turned up. There they are. Dixon agreed. There's nothing like the smell of a good earth and fresh growing things. I snuff until my nose quivers like a rabbit's, Mother says. Will you come again and help me work in the garden? Mary begged. I'll come every day, he answered. It's fun waking up a garden. We'll talk to the robin, too. He looked around thoughtfully. Someone besides a robin has been here since it was shut up 10 years ago. Someone has to prune some of the roses. But the door was locked and the key was buried, said Mary. No one could get in. Dixon began to plant seeds he had brought. Mary remembered what Basil had snugged to tease her. Are there any flowers that look like bells? She asked. Lilies of the valley do, he answered. And there are Canterbury bells and campanulas. Let's plant some, said Mary. There are lilies of the valley here already. Why dost thou want them? When Mary told him about Basil calling her Mistress Mary, quite contrary, with a garden full of silver bells and cockleshells, Dixon laughed. You are as nice as Martha said you were, Mary told him. I like you, and that makes 5 people that I like. That's you, your mother, and Martha, plus Ben Weatherstaff and the robin. Then she said something she had never done before. She asked Dixon, Do you like me? That I do, he answered heartily. I like thee, and so does the robin. The clock in the courtyard chimed noon. Run on, eat thy early dinner, Dixon said. I'll get some more work done before I start back home. Mary went slowly towards the door, then she turned back. You never would tell anyone about the garden, would you? She asked. If thou has a bird, a missel thrush, and showered me with thy nest, does thou think I'd tell anyone? Not me, said Dixon. Thou'rt as safe as a missel thrush. And she was sure she was. Martha was waiting with Mary's dinner when she ran into the room. Where hast thou been? Martha asked. I've seen Dixon, said Mary happily. I knew he'd come, said Martha. He's the best lad ever born. He's brought thee garden tools and seeds, didn't he? Where will thou plant the flowers? Did thou ask anyone? I haven't asked anyone yet, said Mary. Slowly, Martha's question scared her. She was not ready to share her secret yet with anyone but Dixon. After dinner, Martha said, I've got something to tell thee. Mr. Craven has come home this morning, and I think he wants to see thee. What? Why? Mary's face turned pale. He didn't want to see me when I first came. Well, explained Martha, Mother talked to him in the village yesterday. He wants to see thee before he goes away again. Just then Mrs. Medlock opened the door and said, Mary, come with me to Mr. Craven's study. Mary's heart thumped. What would she say to Mr. Craven? She knew he would not like her, and she would not like him. When they got to the study, Mr. Craven was sitting in an armchair in front of the fire. This is Miss Mary, sir, Mrs. Medlock said. Leave her here. I will ring when I want you to take her away, said Mr. Craven. Mary stood waiting. The man in the chair was not a hunchback. His shoulders were high and rather crooked, but there was no hunch. He would have been handsome if he weren't so sad. Come here, he said. Mary went to him. He looked worried, as if he did not know what to do with her. Do they take good care of you here? I meant to get you a nurse or a governess, but I forgot, he said. Oh, please no, I am too big for a nurse. Please do not have me a governess yet. That's what Miss Sowerby said, he muttered. Is she Martha's mother? Yes, he said. She stopped me in the village yesterday. She said that you need to play and grow stronger before you start lessons. So what do you want to do? I want to play outside, Mary answered. Perhaps it will do you good, he agreed. Where do you play? Everywhere, gasped Mary. She was afraid he might guess her secret. Then he would lock the garden again. Martha's mother sent me a skipping rope. I skip and run. I don't do any harm, she said very quickly. Don't look so frightened, he said. You could not do any harm. You may do what you like. I sent for you today because Mrs. Sowerby told me I should. I was surprised to see that she was bold enough to come up to me, but she said her daughter had talked about you. She said that Mrs. Craven would have been kind to her. It was hard for him to say his wife's name. Is there anything you want? Do you want toys, books, dolls? Might I, whispered Mary, have a bit of earth? Earth, he repeated. What do you mean? To plant seeds in, Mary answered. A bit of earth, he said again. You can have as much earth as you want. You remind me of someone else who loved things that grow. There. You must go now. I am tired. Goodbye. I will be gone all summer. He rang the bell for Mrs. Medlock and took Mary back to her room. Martha was waiting for her. I can have my garden, Mary told her. He was a really nice man, but his face is so sad. Mary ran to the garden. Dixon was not there. Do you want to see this picture? It's kind of cool. What do you think that is? He's gone, she said. Oh, he was only a wood fairy? Was he only a wood fairy? Something in the rose bush caught her eye. It was a piece of paper stuck to a thorn. Dixon had left it there. There was a picture of a nest with a missel thrush sitting on it. There were roughly painted words on it, too. It said, I will come back. And that is the end of chapter 6. Tomorrow is chapter 7. The title is I Am Colin. I think one thing that I wonder about this chapter is what missel thrush is. I have no idea. So my guess is that one of your comprehension questions will be a little bit of a research question, so we can find out what in the wide world of sports is missel thrush. Okay. I love it. This is like my new favorite book. Okay. I hope you guys are enjoying it, and I look forward to seeing you this afternoon. Bye.